welcome to the Sci-Fi Invasion, where I, your host, tries to get through all 50 movies in this Sci-Fi Classics box set from Mill Creeks in 50 weeks. The movie I watched today was called Kong Island from 1968. I was actually looking forward to this one. I was a little excited. I've seen the title of this movie around. I like big monster movies. King Kong is pretty much the best example of an American giant monster movie. There's a lot of King Kong knockoffs out there. You know, there's Ape, not to be confused with King Kong, which is a personal favorite of mine. This one, I've always seen the title, never got around to watching it. And to my surprise, this movie neither has Kong as a giant monkey or an island. So the title is a lie, unless you have a very loose definition of an island. So if your idea of a continent is just a big island, then I guess this is an island. It does not deliver on what the title suggests. But it did get me excited to watch this one, so here we are. This movie just starts out of the gate. It's just I feel like I just walked in on a movie. It just begins. And there is a double cross in the movie. There's some sort of heist going on, and one of the three guys backstabs the other two, literally. He shoots them both when they're turned around. But one of them survives, and this is very important to the plot, because the one that survives talks in his sleep as he's recovering, and that gets the government on the tail of these people that committed the heist. And they're following that guy, but that guy doesn't know that he's being followed by Interpol till much later in the movie. And the reason why I say this is because I didn't realize that the guy from later in the movie was the guy from the beginning of the movie, because everyone in this movie looks like Klinger from MASH. They all just have that face. They all look like Klinger. And I didn't realize it was the same guy till going in. I'm not going to say I have the greatest facial recognition in the world, but I feel like I have a pretty normal amount, and I had no idea this was the same guy. Probably because I spent like a second with him at the beginning of the movie, and then there's a character later. Maybe I'm just not paying attention well enough. I tried though. I was looking forward to this one. This movie has a mad scientist in a cave performing experiments on gorillas. I think the phrase they actually use in the movie, I wrote it down. I guess I didn't write it down, but I think they say something along the... Oh, here it is. This is what he says. He says, radio-controlled gorilla brains. Something to that effect. It is so ridiculous, but the mad scientist is like, he's got like all sorts of plans of having radio-controlled gorillas grab and carry women, and it's dumb. Something that's kind of plagued a lot of the movies on this set, because this is not the first time I've talked about this. But this movie has the people looking out windows and looking at stock footage, or like shooting at stock footage, and then like, you know, talking about it, and it gets a little dragged out. I'm gonna have to be honest with you. It's a little drawn out. Not as bad as some of the movies on this this box set, but it is fairly distracting how much they do it. And this movie's pretty empty. It's a pretty empty little movie. There's a lot of just wandering around the forest, which is not so much entertaining. This almost seems like a worse version of that Queen of the Amazons, or whatever that movie I watched a few weeks ago. This one's significantly worse than that one. I'd much rather watch Queen of the Amazon Women than this one. And this one, it's actually surprising, because I also said that I couldn't tell some of the characters apart in that movie, and that was a problem with this one too. But at the end of the day, there's just not a whole lot of meat on the bones. There's a big climactic fight at the end of the movie with men in gorilla costumes and like all sorts of like science machines blowing up and a mad scientist. And if the movie was shorter, and this is not a very long movie, but if it was shorter, it might be more fun. Like, I'm talking like 30 minutes. None of the characters are fun. It's not bad enough to warrant any sort of watch, in my opinion. I mean, maybe you could have some sort of, funny commentary fix the movie, but this is definitely one I would say skip if you have this box set. And that's really all I have to say about it. I wish I could say more, but there's not much to talk about. That's it for now. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Remember, please be kind and rewind.